Hey everybody, Reagan again with House's Barbecue. We got a couple of requests to do brisket for gifts for Christmas, this 2018 Christmas. So I'm going to go over with everybody on how I trim a brisket on all this. This is just briskets, I'll get two of them. Got these just from a local Walmart, so there's nothing special about them. In the competition I would buy a Wagyu. I use the Snake River Farms briskets, the black label. These ones, they're just a choice brisket, so to give away, I don't want to drop a couple $100 on a brisket just to give it away, so we're going to do these ones. I'm going to go over everything on this and show you how to trim it, then we're going to show you how I inject it and then season it, and then how I put it on the smoker. Everybody's got a preference, it's just preference, you know, it all cooks the same. But this is how I'm going to do it. I'll go over the smoker that I'm going to use. It's a Deep South gravity fed smoker, and we'll see how it cooks and the times that I put it on, and the time that I take it off, so you can go from there. We'll come back with you and show you how to trim this up. Alright, we're back here. The first thing I like to do is I like to cut this. It's right about here. This is as you cook it, you won't see the grain here, so I will know where to start my slicing afterwards. So I just like to cut that off. And see all this silver skin? We'll go through and we'll cut all that off. First off, I'll just take some of this hard fat right here. See how it's sticking way up? We'll cut this hard fat right along here. Take that. That's it. We'll cut a lot of that off there. It will not cook. It won't, it won't cook down. It won't render. It won't taste good. So we'll take that. If you got a real sharp knife, the silver skin really isn't that bad. Just take that top layer off there. You want to get all this top layer of fat off this meat side. See how it's right there. There's no silver skin on it already. You take this, pick it up. If your brisket's cold, it works a lot better. I just pulled these out of the refrigerator. So, go ahead and cut that off of it right there. See, I got that right there already. Put a chunk here. We'll cut that off. You don't have to get crazy with this, it's just all in what you want to do. We take the silver skin off just so the rub will get to the meat a little better. See, I cut into the meat a little bit there. This one here is just over a 14-pound brisket. I think I'm gonna put it on at 2 o'clock in the morning. We don't have to be anywhere until 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, so if I put it on at 2 o'clock in the morning, I won't have to get up to wrap it until, probably 4 or 5, well, probably more like 5 or 6, so I get a little bit of sleep since I'm not competing in anything tonight. You can see the silver skin right there. Just want to get that off of there. Get that nasty fat off of there. We'll come back. Alright, for the most part we got the silver skin off. I mean, there's a few pieces left, but it's not too bad. What we'll do is we'll just flip this over. We're going to leave. Look at that. I did not do that. Bought it like that, but that's gonna not cook right. We're gonna leave for the most part this part over here. With this right here, you can see in the butcher, they kind of hacked it up a little bit. But this is where our burn ends are gonna be out of the point over here. So we're just gonna cut some of this off of there. I like to cut it down to the meat so you kind of get some flavoring into the burnt ends. You don't want to cut it too far. Just go ahead and cut that off since it'll burn anyway, so cut that off. Try to smooth your edges out. Anything little like this, it's just going to burn, so you just cut it off. Yeah. Just about down that far. You can even cut that dry stuff out just to shave it a little bit from where it was trimmed bad at the butcher. Probably start right about here is all the farther I want to go. The point's going to end right about in here. Trim this part right here. Goes in the cryo vac. That's about how I trim my burn end parts. Just enough to get some seasoning on there. So that's pretty much a trimmed brisket. You can see there's nothing to it. It's a full packer. The point will come, well, the flat, this was a flat, it'll come all the way into here. You can see this fat line right here. The point is over here and it'll separate, and that'll be your burnt ends. So that one's ready to be injected, and then we'll season it after the injection. I'll put it in the refrigerator and let it sit until it's time to put on the smoker. Alright, we're going to go ahead and inject this brisket. I like to start with the meat side up. That way whenever we end up flipping it and then we have the fat side up, I get to season the fat side first and then the meat side will be second. So I go about every 1 inch. I like to put it in this pan to keep the juices from spraying everywhere, the injection from spraying everywhere. Granted, it still does sometimes, so be prepared. I put my finger over the hole after I get done injecting it to keep it from running out. Kind of closes the hole up a little bit. Actually, you can see what happens if you see what happens. So I put my finger over it. I'm gonna go into pattern, and I do it in the way I'm slicing. You see, so I'm going to start slicing here, so I just kind of go back and forth this way. If you do it, you can see the muscle expanding out as you inject it. Watch this. You can watch the muscles expand out. This helps it hold not just moisture, it gives it a beefy flavor, this injection. This injection is something to mix up. A bunch of seasonings and a beef broth mixed up, cooked on the stove to blend everything together, and then cool down so it doesn't cook the brisket as I'm injecting it. See how fast it goes. It doesn't take long to inject a brisket. Okay. So now that this side's all injected, just flip it over. And I'm not going to touch this part down here. we're just going to inject up here where the burn ends are going to be. If you get over here to the edge, you gotta be careful because it can shoot out, so you just put your hand over there to catch it. Just a little bit more over here. See how the muscle swells up whenever you do it? Starts running out there. Just starts running out, you know you pretty much have enough in there. I don't think you can really over-inject one, but that's all there is to injecting it. Alright, here we're going to season it. This is some all-purpose seasoning, Kansas City Cowtown. Just put a small layer on it. Doesn't take a lot. Then I'm going to go over it with the Our Butts Are Smoking beef rub. This one turns out pretty salty, and this particular person that wanted this brisket wanted the saltier burn ends that it makes, so put a little extra right there. That's about all we have to do, and we'll come back after this sweats a little bit. We're going to wait for the seasoning to sweat, and that means whenever it won't fall off whenever I turn it over, and then I'll show you the other side. Okay, this is sweated now, so we need to take a little bit over. Now we can season this side. Again, just go with a light layer of this. And what's another layer of this? This is, again, a salty mix right here. I did it once and they loved it, so that's what they want again, so we'll go for it. So that's it. That's about all we're going to do on the seasoning. It doesn't take a lot, so it still tastes like beef, and that's what we'll do until we go to put it on the smoker. Hey everybody, I wanted to go over my smoker here, what I got. I have what's called a Deep South GC28 gravity fed smoker. As you can see, it's got 5 racks. The fire chamber comes in there and the heat goes up. It needs cleaned, of course, but it's had a season of competition on it, and it's only been cleaned a couple times. I got the Fireboard controller, and whenever I set this, I set it with my phone, use the app, and this smoker, after it's warmed up, takes about 2 hours to warm it up, and after it's warmed up, it will hold within 1 degree of each direction of your set temperature. So what you do is you fill up this chamber here with lump charcoal, and as it burns, your firebox is down there, and you light it from underneath there, and as it burns, the gravity of the weight of the charcoal falls down on top of the fire, and it just sits there and burns. And I cooked on this thing for many hours, up to 18 hours, without having to refill the chute, and it holds a perfect temperature. I absolutely love it. I would not do a competition without it, or one like it, you know, different brands, but this is my favorite. The quality is just remarkably awesome on this thing, so highly recommend it. Hey everybody, it's about 2:15 in the morning, and I just put these briskets on. Couldn't get a video of me putting them on. It's 2:15. I'm doing it by myself now. If you can see, I got them fat side down. That's how I like to smoke mine. Fat cap on the bottom, meat on the top. I got this one here because that's the leaner brisket. It seems like this is a cooler area of my smoker. Granted, I don't know why, it's closer to the fire, but that seems like it cooks cooler. And this one over here seems like the hottest spot of my smoker, so I got the more heavily marbled one right there, since it's going to take longer to cook. So that's what it looks like whenever I put them on, fat side down. You can see where I put my temperature probes right there. So that's what it looks like. Next step, wrapping them. Hey everybody, It's almost 8 a.m. and you can see the smoke chamber is 229.4. One brisket is 159.9, and the other one is 151.9. These have been on here for just almost 6 hours, and this is the first time it's been opened. See the color there? Nice red auburn color. That's what I'm looking for. So these are the color I'm wanting. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these off of here, and I'm going to take them inside and show you how I wrap them. Alright, see, I got these briskets in here. I put them in these pans instead of wrapping them in foil or butcher paper. And if you can see, there's a rack down in there that keeps them out of this. This is a leftover injection mix that I injected it with. I just kind of pour it over it. Get over the top of it just a little bit. Give a little bit of moisture. And kind of just pour the rest on the bottom. Come over here and just pour this one over the top of this one. And the rest on the bottom. And then this one here. And just like that, that's all the more I wrap them, and we're gonna go set them back on the smoker. Here we are back in the smoke chamber. See how I got them probed right through there and the point. So I'm gonna go for a few more hours and come back to you. Okay, so you can see I'm still sitting right at 230. Brisket left is 187. This one, next one, brisket right, is right just almost 203 degrees. At 203 degrees, which is there's no set temperature on a brisket for the doneness. What you want to do is you just take this. I use this instant read thermometer. I turn it on. I kind of double check the. I'm gonna pull this out. Hold on. Okay, had to find my rack puller. Pull this out. It's kind of prod around in there. Double check the temperature. So that's 204. And what I'm doing here is checking for tenderness. Should feel like you're just poking this through like a bowl of peanut butter or margarine. And man, look at that, 207. This one is very, very tender. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off and take it inside and let it vent. Okay, now we're inside. I'm just going to open this up. And we're just going to let this rest. But I want to let it vent like that. So it keeps some of the heat in, but I don't want it to cook any longer. So just open it up. We're going to let it rest like that. Probably just about an hour today. Maybe 30, probably 45 minutes to an hour. They say you can let it rest for up to 3 hours and let the juices move back to the middle of the meat. But I'm kind of pressing for time, so I'm just going to do it for about 45 minutes, then we'll get in here and start cutting it up. Hey guys, I forgot to say, the time I took this off, it was 11:15, and I put it on at 2:15 a.m., and then it got done completely at 11:15 a.m., so it was right about 9 hours of cook time, right at it, for about a 14.5 pound brisket at 230 degrees smoking temperature. So you can adjust it. Every smoker is going to cook different. You know, you just have to play around with your times, but that's pretty much the basic part of that part. And we'll come back in here in a little bit and start carving this up. All right, here we have our finished brisket. Now we're going to go in through here and carve. You see how it's bouncing like that? That's supposed to do that. So what I like to do, I turn it back over, put the bark side down, and then I come through here. I like to use this electric knife. It's fast, easy. And I can trim this fat off of there. Now you can see where this point is. There's our point. We're going to use that for our burn ends. Just a little bit more. You can see it just right there at this fat. Now this is the flat. This is what's left of it. So we'll just trim this fat off. You can see how the fat protects this meat. This is the part that the butcher, they cut the fat off before I got, whenever it was in the butcher. So you can see how it kind of cooked it there. So this fat protects this part of the meat. You don't have to get it all off, you can leave a little bit. I like a lean brisket on that part of it, so you see there's a fat line right there. Some fat here. So that's how you do that part. So I'll take this point, or this flat, sorry, and I'll just set it back over here in these juices for a little bit. I'll come over here, start cutting up some burnt ends. Take this and flip it back over, you see all the fat. Shave all that off now. Okay, so I got my burn ends cut up there. I sprinkled a little the our beef rub seasoning on there. I'll dip in here, get some of this au jus, and kind of pour in there. About that much, it doesn't have to be a perfect amount of anything. But that's what my burn ends are going to look like. I'm going to put them back on the smoker 15-20 minutes, get a little more smoke flavor to them. And that's what it looks like. I'm going to put them on the smoker, we're going to come back in here and trim this flat. Alright, we got the burn ends back on. Now we're going to go ahead and carve up this flat. And this is where I made that cut, my first cut of trimming the brisket. So you can actually see the grain in this one, but sometimes, if you get a real heavy bark on there, it's hard to see it. So I'm just going to start right about here. You want to make sure and try to pull it back a little bit. That way you know it's separated. Alright, here we are with our flat. This is it, how I slice it, you know, I use the electric knife. And you can pull your piece out. That's how you want it to be on the tenderness. So, just dig it in the middle. That's it. Good looking brisket. So, burn ends are still on for a little bit longer, but that's how I cook a full packer brisket. And how I slice it, how I trim it, the times that I put it on, the time that I take it off, you know, for your time, you need it done at a certain time, you know how to count it up. It took right about 9 hours to cook this at 230 degrees. I use Blues Hog lump charcoal in my gravity-fed smoker. You can throw a log of hickory underneath it and get a hickory smoke flavor. But this one here, I just use the Blues Hog since it's a hardwood anyways. So that's how I trim a brisket, cook a brisket, and the times I do it. So thank you.